was holiday.
So you were enjoying it.
But I was here. Salah to our Muslim brothers and sisters.
Exactly.
It was a good one.
You enjoyed yourself?
Oh yeah. I mean, they fasted for 30 days. We helped them fast.
Okay.
And so
you held them a joy.
Anyway,
let's bring you the very first story and let's take you to the Ashanti region, where family of the 26-year-old lady who was allegedly shot by her police boyfriend. The family is asking for security protection, citing attacks by unidentified persons after the arrest of the prime suspect. Let's bring you that insight.
The family of the young lady who was allegedly shot dead at Doom by her boyfriend, who is a police officer, is calling for police protection following the arrest of the prime suspect. The family is alleging that some unidentified persons stormed their area on Sunday night in a suspicious manner, which compelled many of them to abandon their homes. They fear the persons could be linked to the suspect, hence they are calling for protection. City News' Bureau Chief for the Middle Belt, Edward Oponmafo, reports.
So before we bring you that insight, let's cross over to Asokore Mampon District Court in the Ashanti region, where the case currently is in court. Edward Oponmafo is a Middle Belt Bureau Chief, and he is on standby for us to give us up to speed what is happening there. We cross over live. Edward, what is happening at the court enclave as of now?
So, Philip, the case has been adjourned to 30th of May, and the family members are around at the moment, and they are basically weeping. And during the court proceedings, the police prosecutor, ACP Kofi Blagoje, indicated that they are saddened by what has happened. We're here with some of the family members and those who were around at the time they were in court. So to really find out what they think about what's going on and even how the court proceedings went. Isn't it this in China who drew they say what's about court, send a cost to the end cost of Muslim.
Not me nim the entire Wokuno. But another man who's a bako to Nabu say 1 no must say 50 million. 1 funny Sikamana, walk kuna to Atane. Namasa, Mrs. Sinimu Killa cry, your body to a bobby to kill and power, what tip on your Yakun. Your body to Quansia. Just 5,000 cities. Welcome, Nipa. It's almost 30th, next month 30th. Yadinebaba. Yadia, Yenisam Labba Yaduma. Yantimi from Lanshi and some pet. Naminim say, that parade your Wayana Juma.
All right, so as one of the family members, they are basically worried about the fact that to give him that's what, according to some of the family members. This is a direct brother of the deceased, Emmanuel Pong. That's his kid's sister is the one who has just been killed. The one who has been killed. Let's try and speak to her. So, Ima, Ima, send a court case because send a mohono. Now, say no. You must want to mean assurance is now police for name. Must say or mobeshe say bibia because you know be dia sem nechi no. Who say would you? Yes, say ya na kwadia. Me hu ni ye pa. Say ya na kwadia. E be go see ya my head ya. Me ni problem because omo kwa manen kasa. O ma ya de. O ma ya de pa. Say ya na kwadia papa. Makoma to me yam. Se be go see ya ma me dia. Minim say enche. Nyame e be kasa. E da masewa. All right, and so basically the family members are actually some are satisfied with some of the assurances that have been given so far. So we'll try and speak to more people to really know how they feel about what is going on and the fact that the police administration, that's something that was stressed by the police prosecutor, ACP Kofi Blagoje, insisting that they are saddened by the development and that they will do everything possible within their means to ensure that justice is served in this matter. And so we're still trying to engage the mood of some of the people who are here, some of the family members who are here. And so it's just an emotional moment over here. The family members are very much worried. Some of them are even trying to just raining salt on the accused person who is within the court premises. And so that's what basically is going on over here. And so we can even hear in the background, some of them are basically just trying to wait and just see the suspect. Some of them are saying that they want to engage him to really find out what went into his mind to allegedly commit the act. And so basically, Philip, it's an emotional moment. Many of the family members, friends, and other sympathizers who have come here to the court premises are
the suspect to adjourn the case to 30th of May. If you can brief us about that.
So, Philip, this case has been adjourned to 30th of May. And then the suspect has been remanded into police custody. And within this period, the police are saying that they need more time to also conduct further investigations to come out with all relevant facts in this matter. And so that's the situation. Some family members are saying that they are so far excited about how the case is going, but they are calling on the IGP in particular to ensure that justice is served in the matter. They want the police to conduct thorough investigations to really ascertain all circumstances surrounding it. And so basically that's it. But the scenes here, with the scenes, some people are even just threatening to get hold of the officer. And so they feel that with what has happened, they feel that wasn't the best, and they still want to have some kind of interaction with the police officer who is alleged to have committed this act. And so that's what is happening at the moment over here.
So with the issue of the family members, are they okay with what has been said so far at the court place and adjourning it to the 30th May? Do they want some things to be explained? They want some unidentified men who attacked them after the prime suspect was arrested. Have you gotten in touch with the family members asking them if the police have also heeded to their calls and their demands?
And so, as we speak, family members are saying that they have not had any kind of assurances from the police with respect to the kind of police protection that they are seeking to get because of some of the threats that they had. That's according to them. Some unidentified persons have been trooping into their family house to basically patrol around the area, and they feel that the activities of these persons are a bit suspicious, and that's it. And as I speak to you, because of the reaction of the family members and some other persons who are here, there is increased police presence at the moment. Some other police officers have been deployed over here. They have come here that's to complement the work of the other police officers who are already stationed. And so it's basically a charged atmosphere here. Many people are here. There's some who came to the court to witness the case. There are others who are also here. They have massed up in front of the court premises, and more police officers have been called in to maintain calm. Because as I indicated earlier, there were some persons who were just trying to say that they wanted to even have access to the police officer who is inside. Some of them, in fact, according to them, they have been threatening to just get a hold of him and also attack him. And so the officers here who are doing all that they can, they're engaging officers are here at the moment to ensure that justice is calm.
But are you also aware if the officer or the suspect had legal representation at court today and what his plea taken? Yeah, I'm asking if you are aware that the suspect who came to court today had legal representation.
So basically, although his plea was not taken, but what the point that he made in court was that he believes that everything is between himself and God Almighty, and so he does not want to make further comments. But the only comment he made was that it is between himself and God, and so he says even though his plea is not going to be taken, it was not his intention to kill the deceased. That's what he's saying. But some family members and other loved ones who are here are just saying that if indeed it wasn't the intention, why is it that he was shot? The lady was shot multiple times, and so that's what is bringing the whole kind of confusion over here at the court premises. But there are police officers who have also been brought in here to complement the work of the earlier team that had been here. They are basically in to ensure that there's calm over here, and so that's it. And so for those who are really affected, they are basically that's the family members. They are basically worried about it, and they just don't get it. Let me try and talk to some of them. Mame no kasa kakra. Hello. Oh yeah, family member.
Me a family member.
O concern and kasa ni.
Hey, they concern kasa say yes, IGP. Any Ghana police phone nyina say adia mine na ye no what the police entire police unit nyina ba form. Say what me catch obi at 5,000. Net and 5,000 to do not me what me kunu pa bra me gina ma ko no for ba ko 5,000. Who was said nipa na ka ho?
Just be mindful of the kind of words you're using. We are on TV.
But boss, yeah, we want to see this guy dead. That's what we want now.
Okay, what exactly do you want? Tell us.
What we want is that we want to see him dead. That's what we want. Because you can't kill somebody just because of 5,000 guys in the city. For what? For what? What have you don't catch and tell Odofo? You have audacity and mind in the church Odofo. Odofo no wine. One hour Odofo. Odofo do to me come be 50 million. Ah, blah, only the bit.
Be mindful of the kind of words you're using.
One penny once a month to watch
Be mindful of the kind of words you're using. But let me get to you. Let me get to you again. You were inside the court with what he said. What's your reaction to it?
What you just said, our reaction to it is that I said, yeah, a highest is here right now, and he said.
All right, so the police officers are trying to take the suspect out of court at the moment, and so they have actually found a way. They took the back door, and now the suspect has been taken out. And in fact, many of the family members were trying to get hold of him, but because of the police team that came, they used the back door, and some people are still trying to chase the police vehicle that is going. And so that's it here, quite a charged atmosphere here at the Asukariman District Court.
So, Eddie, I want to find out, per this nature of the case, did any top hierarchy of the police come to the courts today? So we know that in this case involves a police officer. We are asking that per the nature of this case, did you cite any top hierarchy police officer there today at the court?
Yes, so with this case, the case has been handled by the regional head of legal and prosecutions, that's ACP Kofi Blagoji. And so, according to, in fact, he came here with a number of police officers. There were some who were stationed right in front of the court premises, and there were others who were also stationed at vantage points. And like I indicated, other police officers had to be brought in here to complement the work that the others were doing. And so there were a lot of police officers who were here. And during the proceedings, the police prosecutor, ACP Kofi Blagoji, stressed that they are going to ensure that they protect the integrity of the police service. And so they say they will look into the matter thoroughly to ensure that the public is able to have some kind of confidence in the service. So that's it. So for him, he being a police officer, that's a prosecutor, it says that they are giving the assurance that all that has to be done, any action that has to be taken to ensure that there's justice in this matter, they are going to do that, Philip.
What are the charges that have been leveled against this police officer, that is the suspect, and what was his demeanor in court today?
And so at the moment he has been charged with murder, and that's the primary, that's the basic charge. He has been charged with murder, saying that it was a premeditated action and that he actually planned to kill the suspect. And although the court did not ask of his plea, but the suspect, that's a police inspector, came out to say that the police inspector is saying that, well, it was not his intention to kill him.
Or your
to
time.
kill her. And he was basically insisting that it was, that's the deceased was a loved one, and so it was not the intention to kill. So that was what he said, although the court officially did not take.
Okay. Many thanks for your time, Edward Mafo. Edward Mafo is Middle Belt Chief Bureau, and he has been speaking to us from the Sokore Mampon District Court, where the case of the lady, the 26-year-old lady who was murdered in Edum, is in court as at now. It's a very serious issue, and you could tell from the way the family members of the deceased are asking for justice to be served in this case, and the allegation of what has been out here is that the police officer says that the lady owes him some amount of money, 5,000 Ghana cedis, for which that led to the killing of the lady.
Well, for me, it's a sad one, and we can only sympathize with their family and ask them that they should remain calm. I mean, it's a difficult one. Their anger, anxiety, and quest for justice is justified. But they should also be careful that in their quest, they also do not fall in the wrong side of the law.
Yeah.
Because we run a system where we deem suspect or accused persons not to be guilty until proven guilty. And there's a responsibility on prosecution in the case to prove their case beyond reasonable doubt. And so if the police is doing their job with the evidence that they are collecting, we can only say that they should allow for due process to go through, and then the court would come out with its pronouncement when everything is done. But for me, I think that they should be careful. They should make sure that they don't channel their own pain into illegalities, because you've already lost a family member. You don't act so that another family member is lost to the hands of the law. And so that is what I can say to the family. To the police, the family is calling for protection.
Exactly.
They should look into those allegations of persons who seem to have threatened the family, and then if there's anything that they can do, they act appropriately.
Exactly. So the case has been adjourned to May 30, 2023. We will be following it keenly and bring you all the updates on this particular issue. And that then again, the police officer in the center of this case has been remanded into police custody. Away from that story, let's bring you some more stories. And the Individual Bondholders Association has withdrawn from its participation on the technical committee set up by the Finance Committee. Let's bring you that insight.
Bondholders Association of Ghana has withdrawn its participation from the technical committee set up by the Finance Ministry to find solutions to the debt owed individual bondholders by government. The technical committee set up in the early stages of the domestic debt exchange program was asked to reconvene to find ways government and the bondholders can come to an agreement. But the Individual Bondholders Association of Ghana says it does not serve the interest of the bondholders. The following report has more.
Since February 2023, government has failed to pay coupons and principals on domestic bonds in excess of 1 billion Ghana cedis. After a series of threats from different individual bondholder groups, the Finance Ministry directed the technical committee comprising leadership of the individual bondholder groups and the Finance Ministry formed in the early stages of the domestic debt exchange program to reconvene and work a way forward. But the Individual Bondholders Association of Ghana has withdrawn from the committee because, according to its convener Martin Pebu, the deliberations seem not to have served the primary interest of the bondholders, which is to access their locked-up investments.
The main thing is, as we're saying, government is not dealing with us in good faith. What it is that government hasn't shown enough basis for its claim that it doesn't have money to pay. You see, we are all citizens. Government is accountable to citizens. But you can see government in this case is not interested in accountability because government just came out that there's no money to pay. It hasn't explained how. Government has explained how this came about. So there's no trust. There's no trust at all because you have to be able to show the books, especially in view of the fact that, government has not been consistent in its communications throughout this process of the domestic debt exchange program and the failed promises and everything. So you see that at the end of the day, government doesn't have any goodwill. Government cannot be trusted. So based on its past conduct. So coming for it to just say there isn't money to pay, it's not convincing enough. Of course, there are other ways. It shouldn't call us a technical committee that is stillborn. Yeah, so we can still engage. As we said, we want government to show us the books. Where has the money gone that government says there's no money to pay? So that can be done without the vehicle of this technical committee that is currently being...
There's been a suggestion for government to convert principal payments into treasury bills while paying coupons as and when they are due. Martin Kwebu, however, disagrees with that suggestion.
Basis for the claim that it doesn't have money to pay. You see, yes, I admit the budget is a projection. But if you look at the budget, from everything that we've done in terms of the projections, the estimates, things we want to spend and the rest, you can see that the budget itself makes provision for the payment of the coupons, etc. in the same budget. Then when it comes to the principals, we've suggested that government cuts down some projects. And that is something that all the seasoned economists have said. So Professor Ayite, Professor Botkin, Professor Dr. Sibe Yebua, and Dr. Marcus Sibe Yebua, University of Ghana. You can go on, Said Bouachi, you can go on and on and on. They all agree that government must do massive cuts.
So for the Individual Bondholders Association of Ghana, government hasn't shown enough commitment or evidence that it can't pay the coupons or the matured coupons or the principals. And this is what they've been raising. For this reason, they've withdrawn from the committee that they had a meeting at the finance ministry in the heat of the moment where they had to decide whether their pension funds or their funds would be added to the debt exchange program and all that. But now they are out of the technical committee. I don't think it's something that is right, because it's something that this is a committee that is finding a solution to how you will be paid or the way forward for the debt exchange program.
Well, it's a two-way affair. And the first one has to do with, you look at the unified efforts that the various groups talk about, the group led by Martin Kwebu, the group led by Senyo Hosi, the group led by Dr. Anania Nchi. And that sort of unified voice got them the government attention to a large extent and commitment. But you see, the interest of every group will vary. And so you will get the pensioner group, for instance, in an extreme position and saying that we won't allow for any form of restructuring at all, because now these are persons who, most of them, do not have a day job and are depending on the monies that they've put in these bonds. And so any single delay may affect them. And then you may have the group that Martin Kwebu is representing. I remember when the issue started and we interviewed him, he indicated that most of his clients were also pensioners. So then you get that he's also in the same bracket as the likes of the members
of the pensioner
bondholders. And the issue here is that they do not have any, most of them do not have any other form of income, aside the returns that they get from the bonds that they've purchased. And so it's a difficulty, and you want to understand on that level that it will be a difficulty for them to just allow for a restructuring and for the amount that is due them to be delayed. Now, this other thing also goes to the point that, and we kept making this point when this issue started, that government definitely will have to give in to something, and you cannot expect for everybody to agree to all the plans that you are seeking to bring on board. And when it started, the first work of the technical committee was to come up with items that government can, expenditure items that government can realign and use them into the payment of these bondholders, or certain things that government can hold on to and be able to have a free fiscal space and have monies for certain things. If you go to those items and you list them, not up to half of them have been undertaken by government. And so government is seeking for that sort of cooperation from these persons. However, some of the agreements that they've gone into with some of these groups and persons, government, on the other hand, have not fulfilled them. And so it becomes a difficulty, and you want to understand the position that Martin Tebo is speaking from, that if we've always been in a technical committee that we come out with recommendations, and that we always adhere to our part of the bargain, and you do not undertake your portion of it, the trust that they have in you will continue to dwindle.
But in this case, they are talking about government defaulting, and we all know the economic situation as at now in this country, that maybe government wouldn't have the funds to pay the bondholders.
Government knew the economic situation and during negotiations agreed. Unless you want us to believe that government was tricking them or government was deceiving them. If government truly, that has a fiduciary role to play for these people, had given them the assurance that they are going to get their monies, I don't think that the argument that we knew government was going to face challenges, because government knows its challenge and government knows the monies that it has, and it gave them that assurance. And for most of these people, having given the indication that they do not have any other source of income, every day that you delay in paying their returns or their matured bonds means that you are delaying in their seeking medical attention, you are delaying in them perhaps paying for their rent, you are delaying in them perhaps even paying for the fees of their grandchildren if they have to do so. And even some young people who have bought government bonds, who may have to postpone their plans.
And in this case, you are saying that they don't trust government when it comes to government's commitment. But the same government has to pay you your coupons and also the principals. And in this case, that government is not being trusted. Going out round table, having a meeting to judge on this matter or have a conversation on this, do you think is the way to go?
Well, we know, we are yet to hear from them we are yet to hear from the bondholders what the strategy will be going forward. There are options that they can undertake. They may engage in protests and picketing that we've seen the pensioner bondholders do. They may even go to court if they so want to, and see if they can get the court to compel government to pay them. The court has a very extensive powers, and if the court agrees with their case and truly wants to compel government to pay, it won't be one that government can simply overlook. So, I mean, the option is to them. Certainly, I'm sure as days go by, we'll get a response from the government and get the strategy from the group that is led by Martin Pebo.
Exactly so. You're still watching CNR Extra here on City TV. Still to come. Opposition National Democratic Congress confident of annexing the Kumewu parliamentary seat in the upcoming by-elections. Stay with us. We're back with more stories.
Plus is a fully skimmed evaporated milk. Creamy Plus is available in a shop near you.
This message has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Mothers go above and beyond to give us 5 times the love. Tell us how much your mom means to you and let's HD Plus make it feel like 5 times the star this Mother's Day. From 13th April to 1st May 2023, record and send a 30-second video about how amazing your mom is. Feel it to the WhatsApp number 020-0044-420. Your video will compete with other entries to win one of the 65-inch Nasco flat screen TVs with an HD Plus model for mom. HD Plus, the feel experience.
Many thanks for staying with us here on CNR Extra. Let's bring you some more stories. And victims in a fire incident at Anglo community of the Shama district in the Western region want government to come to their aid.
Let's go to the Western region, where following a disruption of power supply that allegedly led to a fire outbreak that destroyed about 7 households and other properties in the Anglo community of the Shama district in the Western region, affected persons have made a passionate appeal to the government to come to their aid. City News' Akwasia Jayanim has more in this report.
Shama Anguna Beach, a fishing community in the Shama district, has suffered over the years with tidal waves, which has destroyed several houses over here. But today, the sadness that has actually engulfed the community is not the usual tidal wave suffering, but a fire outbreak believed to have been triggered by an electricity supply line here. And as you can see, these are all remains of structures that have actually been burnt over here, as you can see from this iron sheet. I'm told by residents over here that they have lost several properties and they are hoping that the electricity company through the PURC would actually come to their aid to see to what has happened here.
And on Friday 21st, we are able 2 o'clock. Now, lighty, oh mama, papa. Yen bibia shile sisi ya yejina hade krampo yeni shi yeni sika bibia chese ya sisi wa hade krampo yeni shi ekubi wa hade yetu village service alone situation sika uwomu ye 4,500 ni nyina shi minimum ba manifo na ye adwuma sika mekaji wo bank mi de botu dem ho ni nyina shi chese yeni shi nti ye hia wono bo ankasa mpanyifo binmu ba be hwe obo chiche pictures na ade ba odu kwenu yente hwe.
On Friday my books, my uniforms, my textbook and all my materials, all my school items has been burnt, and I was not in the house before, so I'm pleading for people to help me to go to my school.
The fire started in the town. And this building was roofed. It was the kitchen of my wife. And then the fire engulfed, and then everything got burned down. As you can see, those cooking utensils, they were all destroyed by the fire.
So I have with me an eyewitness from a neighboring house who also had a portion of his window also burnt to tell me exactly what he saw.
I the one who saw the fire, and I started shouting. That's why my voice also go low. So before you come to pour water on the first house, then you jump to the another house. Then I'm also in the other house, third house, helping them before somebody come and tell me that my own also catch fire. So before I run to my room, it's happening and other people also assist me. So we are pouring the water, more water. It started burning the partitions and the blankets inside the rooms. There is no support.
Meanwhile, the assemblyman for the Anlo Beach, Samuel Bolu, on his own, upon hearing the incident, has actually come to the aid of the community. But he thinks the electricity company and other responsible institutions within the Shama district must actually come in with a better support to the people over here.
I heard the incidents on Friday. I quickly rushed to the place, and then when I came to see my people, I mean, most of them, their entire belongings has been destroyed. As an assemblyman, I can't do much, but I've been able to provide 5 bags of rice and 5,000 Ghana cedis, at least to keep them a bit moving till other institutions come in. On this note, I really want to also appeal to our citizenry, because the incidents was really triggered by their installation. So the electricity should definitely have to come to their aid.
With the Electricity Company of Ghana being accused in this matter as having played a role in the fire outbreak over here, what has it got to say about the sufferings of the people?
In the coastal areas like this place, when there are strong winds, sometimes it affects our lines, where you get some of them marine, which obviously may lead to some sparks. It's unfortunate that the roofs were touched, and that led to it catching fire and spreading to the other buildings. It's unfortunate that the people had to lose their property in this manner. And we are assuring them that we are going to work on it. Because it's a natural occurrence, we will send it to the appropriate quarters for them to decide on issues related to compensations.
For City News, I'm Akwasi Ejenim. Shama, hello.
So we plead that the appropriate quarters will go to the aid of the affected people in this fire incident.
I mean, there's every need for the authorities to step in, because this fire incident is no doing of them, and we know the devastation that can be caused by fire. Of course, it's too early to apportion, say, negligence on the part of anybody, but regardless, the fact that this has to do with a power supply, disruption of power supply relating to the Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG and the government at large has an obligation at least to make sure that they can support the affected families in ways that they can.
So rightly so, we are hoping that the appropriate quarters will do what is needful, and that the assembly member of the area has taken the initiative or the bold step to at least bring some relief items to the affected people in the fire incident at Anlo Shama district in the western region. Away from that, the NDC is hopeful of annexing the Kumewu parliamentary seat in the upcoming by-elections. Let's bring you that insight.
The National Democratic Congress has vowed to do whatever it takes to win the Kumewu by-election. The Ashanti Regional Chairman of the NDC, Augustus Nana Akwesi Andrews, tells City News the NDC has a better development track record in Kumewu than the NPP, and as such, they are not perturbed by the election of a parliamentary candidate. Our Middle Belt Bureau Chief, Edward Opoma, reports.
Following the death of the Member of Parliament for Kumewu, Philip Basua, both the New Patriotic Party, NPP, and the National Democratic Congress, NDC, have been making frantic efforts to boost their chances of winning the by-election, which comes off on May 23, 2023. NS Yao Enim has won the internal elections organized by the New Patriotic Party in the Kumewu constituency ahead of the by-election and is thus the party's parliamentary candidate. There is also an independent candidate who was second in the 2020 parliamentary polls and is seeking to win the seat this time. For the NDC, although historically the Kumewu constituency has been a stronghold of the NPP, they believe this is the right time for the NDC to win the seat. The Ashanti Regional Chairman of the party insists that various developmental projects initiated during the NDC's regime put them ahead. Augustus Nanakwesi Andrew says the NDC already has a candidate and thus they have intensified their campaign in the area. He also accused the government of only constructing the roads within Kumewu because of the by-election.
As you all know, we have our own parliamentary candidate who is going unopposed, and we are ready for the seat. This seat, I'm going in as I'm going for election 2024. That's going to be my benchmark, so I'm very determined that we are going to pull surprises and we are going to take the seat. Do you know one thing? Now the MPP is afraid of us. Now they are saying that we are sponsoring an independent candidate. Whatever I have to do to win that Kumewu seat, I'm going to do it. And as we are talking now, we have men at the grounds. We've gone there several times, and the NDC is united now to face MPP 2024 and this by elections.
What makes you so confident?
Oh, you see, we've been on the ground because they are afraid. Now look at the way they are moving into the constituency. They've done nothing at Kumewu. Now they are making Kumewu roads. That's shameful of them. So if the late MP hasn't passed, will they do that road? And as we are talking, when we are going to Kumewu, we have a lot of things to say. We've done hospitals, we've done schools, we've done water projects at Kumewu. Major development in Kumewu constituency was being done by the NDC. They've done nothing, and now they are afraid. And as I'm saying, we are going to these elections for boot. We are going to take the Kumewu seat. We are winning because now the delegates are descending now. They know what they want. Nobody can deceive them again, because when it's by election, they start pumping money into the constituency. Now the people of Kumewu are asking MPPs that since 2000, what have they done? When they resume power, they've done nothing. Even the hospital that John Mama was putting it up, it's now that they've seen that there's pressure on them, they want to complete them. They should tell us one single project that was being done by the MPP at Kumewu. They don't have. Now they are afraid. They are running up and down. Look, even this prime minister, they just finished. They are complaining that this is Alan camp, this is Bamia camp, and there's confusion in MPP. But we are united and we are going to this elections. We are going to win.
He further added that the NDC is confident of increasing its votes in the Ashanti region in both the parliamentary and presidential in the 2024 general elections.
We've done it before. You see, last 4 years we had a little about 400,000, but we were able to appreciate to 620,000 people. And as we are talking, the good work that we've done, we are able to organize our polling stations well. Now we have polling stations officers across the region. The constituencies are hungry for power. Our agents are set now.
the NPP has chosen as candidate for the Kumawu by-elections. The NDC is also saying that it has a candidate who is running unopposed, and so that candidate is set. They are thus saying they are very confident of winning the seat, irrespective of the fact that over the years it has been a stronghold of the NPP. From the Ashanti Regional Office of the NDC.
And of course, May 23, 2023 will be the date to determine who wins the seat, whether the NDC candidate or the NPP candidate. But it looks like the NDC is also stating that they are going all out to ensure that the seat is won. And if the seat is won by the NDC, that means it reduces the number for the NPP in Parliament.
I mean, it's understandable that the NDC would want to put in a lot of effort. And I mean, when you come to Ghana, when we do not have any elections like midterm elections, and so there's no really any form of qualitative measure for you to check your preparedness for the next election. And sometimes political parties will want to capitalize on by-elections to prove a point that the citizenry have been looking at what government has been doing and is not happy with the current government, and the citizens will want to show an indication. And I think that even for the NDC in their strategy, they'll be looking at, even if they do not win the seat, they'll be able to increase their votes substantially. It becomes a bargaining chip to make a point that in 2024, truly, they can make a case in Ashanti region and the country at large. So May 23 will definitely be a date to decide. But we hope that the attendant security challenges that comes with by-elections are dealt with appropriately. The IGP has indicated that a security task force has been put in place. We are hoping that the security task force will work appropriately to make sure that we do not record another Ayawaso West Wogon.
Exactly so. You are still watching CNR Extra here on CTTV, still to come. Association of Soybean Farmers and Aggregators in the Northern Region call on the government to immediately lift the ban on exportation of the produce. Kindly stay with us, we'll be back with this story.
City TV is live on DSTV. Go to channel 363. On GoTV, access City TV on channel 182. On a digital TV, please press the menu button on the remote control and run a new search on your TV. Take note that without an antenna, you cannot access City TV on your television. City TV can be accessed on a free-to-air digital box like the GoTV and StarTimes box. City TV, it's your world.
You're welcome back. Let's bring you some more stories. And the Association of Soybean Farmers and Aggregators want government to immediately lift the ban on the exportation of the produce.
Ghana Soybean Farmers and Aggregators Association in the Northern Region are calling on the government to lift the ban on soybean exportation. According to them, there is a current pile of soy grain stocked in their warehouses due to low demand of the commodity locally. They lament that the situation has put a financial burden on them, as most of them took bank loans to farm. They have thus threatened to reduce the production of soybeans for the 2023-2024 farming season if nothing is done about the ban.
Government, as part of measures to protect poultry farmers, put a ban on the exportation of soya beans after farmers decried the non-availability of feed for their birds. Since the restriction, smallholder farmers who are much affected say local demand for soya beans has drastically declined, causing the price to drop from 650 cedis to 400 cedis a bag at the farm gates. The situation, they lament, is impacting negatively on soya bean cultivation owing to lack of funds to invest in land preparation and other farm inputs. According to the farmers, even though they are unable to give a total figure on the stockpiled in the region, however, Alansan Abdul Anjus, a farmer, says he alone has about 40 tons of soya bean stock without markets.
We have started farming. I have nuclear farmers under me, and over 60-70% are women who have cultivated soya bean, and as of now they can't sell it, yet they are supposed to farm. So how will they be able to manage? It's a setback. You have the produce before you. You have nobody buying it. Or even they are going to buy it, it's going to be at a very low cost, and which will not be able to even meet the production or the amount of money you use to get the soya bean. So if you sell it, how will you be able to farm this year? So in effect, this ban has crippled a lot, not only some of us sitting here, but even people who are struggling to survive in their little way.
Speaking at a press conference on Monday in Tamale, the Ghana Soya Beans Farmers and Aggregators Association recommended that government lift the restrictions to allow for the exportation of the commodity to avert the collapse of the soya business.
The 7-member committee set up by the government to license exporters of soybeans should be dissolved with immediate effect. Government should without delay repeal the export and import restriction of soybean regulation 2020 LI 2432 and lift the ban on soybean exportation to allow Ghanaian farmers to make money for their labor. If government truly wants to help local soybeans processing companies, government should provide them with funds to be able to buy and make cash payment for soybeans. If government wants cheaper soybeans for local processing companies, government should resource the buffer stock company to be able to buy enough soybeans in the peak season and resell to the local processing companies at cheaper prices. Government should identify farmers on government support and direct them to sell soybeans to the local processing companies. Government should allow individuals with capacity to export soybeans to do so without frustrating them, to enable the industry attract the needed investment. As at now, investors are moving away from investing in soybeans production because of the ban on the exportation of soybeans. By these recommendations, we call on the farmers and aggregators to trade in soybeans without restrictions.
They further threaten the reduction of soya production should the ban continue.
If government fails to heed to our call by 15th May 2023, we will not fight the government, but we will cut down the production of soybeans in the 2023-2024 farming season. This is not a threat, it is just information to the public.
I am Dinah Ngwan.
So that's the call from the soya bean farmers. I think this can be addressed immediately because it's under the purview of the Agric Minister. We have a new Agric Minister, Barney Champon. So if this is happening, and from what they are saying, that is the farmers, the ban actually was as a result of no feed for the birds, and they had to keep the soya bean in the country to ensure that at least we have enough feed for birds. So if this is a time that they are saying that the exportation is needed to rake in some income for their business, I think government has to look into it and maybe hit to their cause before what they've threatened to do by reducing the production of soya bean. They go by it.
Well, I mean, it's an interesting one, and we know that this ban, as far back as 2022, in the heat of the Russia-Ukraine war, fears of shortage of grains, government banned exportation of some grains. First was for initial 3 months and extended it again for some 6 months. And it's interesting how we seem not to be getting local demand for the soybean that has been produced in the country. And when we don't tackle it appropriately, then we'll be leading into smuggling and a whole lot of other issues. So I think that is an important call that relevant authorities will have to pay attention to.
And it has to be tackled immediately. The Agric Minister has to get wade into this conversation and get it addressed once and for all. This is how we end today's edition of CNR Extra here on City TV. My name is Philip Nihilati. I did this with Hansen Ajiman. Many thanks for your time and keep watching City TV.